Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Good afternoon. I'm Andrea from Andrea Speaks TV, here to bring you more commentary and news you can use. Listen, first of all, I hope you all are having a very great Thursday. I hope that you and your family are doing well. And I want to thank you so much for supporting the channel. Listen, I'm here this afternoon. Today is Thursday, July 28th. And I want to share some information with you. This news comes from the New York Post and also the LA Times. And I want to let you know what's going on in Mexico City. Now, you all know right here on the channel, I also report on world news. And so today's topic, I want to get right into it. I want to let you know exactly what's going on with Mexico City and why the residents are angry. Okay, before we get started, please make sure that you like this video, share this video, and so I want to invite you to subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed already. All right, listen. So the title is on the screen. Let's talk about the fact that Mexico City residents are angered by what they describe as an influx of Americans speaking English, gentrifying the area. Okay, that's according to a report. All right, just before I get started, let me check and make sure that my sound is okay. And whether you're watching now live or if you're watching by replay, please make sure that you leave me a comment and let me know your thoughts on this topic. Okay, everything looks good. All right, so according to the New York Post, okay, the article says an influx of Californians, okay, an influx of Californians and other Americans has made its way to Mexico City, angering some locals who say they are gentrifying the area, okay, according to a report. Now, the article says the Los Angeles Times reported on Wednesday, which was yesterday, outlined how some Mexican locals are, and I quote, fed up with the growing number of Americans, many from California, moving to and visiting the country, which has contributed to a rise in rent and a shift from Spanish to English in some places. Okay. Um, the article says that there were flyers allegedly that popped up around Mexico City saying new to the city, working remotely, even using profanity, okay, saying that the locals, basically really, really did not like the fact that they were there. And also the flyers allegedly were telling people to leave. Okay, now we know especially with everything going on due to the pandemic, people having to move, people working virtually, even the cost of rent increasing. Many people, not only in California, many people there was like a shift where people were moving to other cities, moving to other states where they found the cost of living to be cheaper and more affordable. And so, with everything, and there have been several things happening in the state of California um, under the leadership of Governor Newsom. A lot of people, and this was also reported in the news, where a lot of people moved out of the state of California. Okay, and then I'm sure maybe there were some people that moved to California. But with all that said, the article is saying that people moved to Mexico City. Um, and I'm going to get more into that in the article, but apparently what they're saying is that the people that live in Mexico City, they don't like it because it sounds like in so many ways they feel like, their culture, their way of life is being suppressed. And, because they're even saying that, um, how do they refer to it? More uh, English speaking rather than the native Spanish speaking of the country. Okay. Now, the article, again, coming from the LA Times, outlines how Americans have brought a sense of, and I quote, new wave imperialism as taquerías and corner stores have slowly transformed into coffee shops and Pilates studios. Okay. English, the article says, is also reportedly becoming more prevalent as more Americans are moving to and visiting Mexico City to take advantage of lower rent That's what I was saying. The cost they're looking, people were moving to find places where the cost of living was more affordable. And it says the ability to stay in Mexico for 6 months without a visa. Okay. Here's a quote by a writer and university professor who told the Los Angeles Times, we're the only brown people. Okay, that's what he said. And he was also quoted as saying, we're the only people speaking Spanish except the waiters. Okay. Um, let's see. The writer also later posted a video on TikTok. The article says, saying that the influx of Americans, and I quote, stinks of modern colonialism, and nearly 2,000 people responded in agreement. Wow. So it seems like this is really a growing concern. Now, this is my first time hearing about, the fact that people in Mexico City were not happy. Were not happy with what they say um, is an influx of Americans coming to the country. Um, so you all let me know. Did you all know about this? This is my first time hearing about it. The article, it says, also pointed to the article. The New York Post also says, pointed to a social media post online where a young American said, and I quote, "Do yourself a favor and work and remote work in Mexico City. It's truly magical." Okay, the tweet, the article says, received many negative responses. Some people were saying, and I quote, "Please don't." They said this is another quote, "The city is becoming more and more expensive every day, in part because of people like you," the article says, "and you don't even realize or care about it." Okay. Now, while the Los Angeles Times report insisted that the vast majority, I quote, of Mexico City locals are, and I quote, "unwaveringly kind to visitors," there remains a friction beneath the surface, I quote, of what gentrification means to the area. Okay. One person was quoted as saying, "There's a distinction between people who want to learn about the place they're in and those who just like it because it's cheap." Okay, that is a quote by someone who grew up in Florida and Namibia, who has been working remotely in Mexico City. He was also quoted saying, "I've met a number of people who don't really care what they're." He says, I'm sorry, let me start over. This person was also quoted as saying, "I've met a number of people who don't really care that they're in Mexico. They just care that it's cheap." Okay, what do you all think about this information? Now, according to the New York Post, the State Department reports that there are 1.6 million Americans living in Mexico, many of them coming during the pandemic when Mexico eased restrictions sooner than many places in the United States. Okay, but it remains unknown how many of those Americans are in Mexico City. Okay, the Los Angeles Times says that in the first 4 months of this year, okay, the first 4 months of 2022, 1.2 million foreign visitors arrived at Mexico City's airport. Okay, here's a quote by someone who runs the relocation company, Welcome Home Mexico. He was quoted as saying, "We're just seeing Americans flooding in." Okay, it's people who maybe have their own business, or maybe they're thinking of starting some consulting or freelance work. They don't even know how long they're going to stay, he was quoted as saying. He also continued by saying they're completely picking up their entire lives and just moving down here. Okay. This person also said that, oh, I'm sorry, another person said they receive 50 calls a week from people thinking about moving to Mexico City. One person who moved, one lady, the article says, who moved to Mexico City from San Francisco's Mission neighborhood, says she is sensitive to the gentrification issue, but doesn't feel guilty. Okay. She says, "I kind of feel like as a person of color from America, I'm so economically disadvantaged," she said, "that wherever I go and experience some advantage or equity, I take it in." Okay. Now, the Los Angeles Times article says reported a similar situation in Portugal earlier this year in a story titled, "Welcome to Portugal, the New Expat Haven. Californians, please go home." That's what the quote says. In the article, in conclusion, the article says that in the article, the outlet reported that the number of Americans living in Portugal has risen. by 45% in the past year, and many residents have been frustrated by rising housing costs associated with that. So, with all the immigration news that we currently hear about, see about, heard, being talked about, um, in particular, where there are many growing concerns that there are several people crossing over U.S. borders, um, and everything that comes along with that. I found it um, even more concerning that the people in Mexico City are also upset about the number of Americans they say that are migrating to their country. So, what do you all think about this immigration news? Does the residents of Mexico City, do they have a right to be upset and feel, that their culture, their way of life, their way of living is being impacted in what they feel may be a negative way? Or do you think that, hey, um, people should be able to, move where they choose? Let me know. What do you think about this particular topic? Again, this information comes from the New York Post, and the title of the article says Mexico City residents angered by influx of Americans speaking English gentrifying the area. Okay, now I've never been to Mexico City, but just from the picture, just from the few pictures that I saw, it looks like, a very beautiful place to be. You all let me know if you've ever visited, if that is true. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. And as always, thank you so much for supporting the channel. Please make sure if you're watching this video now live or watching by replay, please give this video a thumbs up. Leave me some feedback in the chat. Let me know your thoughts. And make sure that you subscribe to the channel. All right. Thank you all so much. I'll be back with more news and commentary you can use right here on Andrea Speaks TV.